Welcome to ShiftWatch. I'm your host, Starbuck. In this episode, for those of you like me who are hungry for any updates regarding the Lemurians, I came across this video which does a fairly good job explaining them in Beneath Mount Shasta, Telos, the Lemurians, and other dimensions. Next, more evidence of the geostorm conditions impacting Earth from this Swedish latitude reporting station at approximately 62 degrees north latitude. There seems to be rather regular activity of events shared from this location. Then, possible UAP captured during an auroral event by our friend Scanner Guy 1968. This time, he happened on a yet-to-be-determined light orb that seemed to fly into the auroras he was capturing. You be the judge. And finally, there is a connection to be made with humans on Earth and the higher dimensional beings on Sirius. Here is an update from Spirit Science on the Sirian Ship and angelic connections.
What if I told you there's a mountain in California that might be hiding a secret city beneath its surface? A place where glowing temples appear and vanish. Where people claim to meet tall, glowing beings with powers we can't explain. And where some say the veil between our world and another is dangerously thin. This is not a fantasy. This is the legend of Mount Shasta, and the mysterious beings said to live beneath it, the Lemurians. Let's dive into a story that will make you question what's real, what's legend, and what lies just beyond the edge of what we know. Mount Shasta isn't just the highest volcano in California. It's a spiritual sentinel, a presence you feel before you even see it. Rising over 14,000 feet from the valley floor without the support of a surrounding range, it stands alone like a monolith. On a clear day, it can be seen from 140 miles away, its snow-capped peak piercing the sky like a message from another world. But Mount Shasta's true mystery isn't in its height. It's in its energy. To the indigenous tribes of the region, the Wintu, Modoc, Achumawi, and Shasta peoples, this mountain was never just a landform. They called it the center of the world, a sacred being, and a dwelling place for the sky people and spirit ancestors. It was never meant to be conquered or claimed. Traditional stories say that climbing to the summit was forbidden, not out of fear, but reverence. They believed the mountain breathed, that it listens, that in its silence it holds ancient memory. Many today believe that beneath that silence lies Telos, an underground city of light hidden beneath the surface and inhabited by Lemurians, wise beings said to hold the keys to humanity's forgotten spiritual potential. Long before our current history began, it is said that a vast continent called Lemuria once existed, stretching across the Pacific Ocean. It was home to a civilization unlike any we know today, not driven by conquest, technology, or industry, but by conscious connection. The Lemurians were a deeply spiritual people. They didn't need spoken language. They communicated telepathically, heart to heart. Laws weren't necessary. Society thrived on mutual understanding and energetic resonance. They lived as caretakers of the earth, recognizing every tree, mountain, and stream as alive and sacred. But like all golden ages, it didn't last forever. Legends say that Lemuria was destroyed in a global cataclysm, massive earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and rising seas that swallowed the land whole. It was not just a physical disaster, but a spiritual turning point for the planet. Yet not all was lost. A select group of Lemurians, guided by deep inner knowing, received visions, intuitive calls from the Earth herself. These weren't escape plans. They were instructions from the planet's soul, guiding them to a place of refuge, safety, and continuity. That place was Mount Shasta. Drawn by its magnetic field and spiritual energy, they made their way there. But they did not build atop the mountain. They went within it. Underground, they created a new sanctuary, not to hide in fear, but to preserve their frequency, protect ancient wisdom, and hold space for humanity's future awakening. And so, the story of Telos begins. The city they built, Telos, is not just an underground bunker. It's said to be a multi-dimensional temple of living light. Crystalline halls pulse with energy. Walls are lined with gold, silver, and gemstones that vibrate at specific frequencies. Artificial suns illuminate the space with soft, healing light, and time doesn't flow the way it does on the surface. Visitors, in dreams, visions, or deep meditation, report feeling music in the air, seeing symbols in motion, and receiving teachings without a single word spoken. Telos is believed to operate on the fifth dimension, a reality of unconditional love, harmony, and spiritual knowing, just one octave above ours. The Lemurians didn't just build a city, they created a frequency field, a spiritual refuge, and a living record of human potential. The Lemurians are not just mythological survivors of a sunken continent. They're often described as beings of elevated consciousness, embodying both ancient wisdom and spiritual evolution. Witnesses and spiritual channelers describe them as tall, graceful figures, typically standing between 7 to 10 feet in height, with luminous, almost translucent skin that softly glows in low light. Their eyes are large, almond-shaped, and deeply expressive, often said to carry the weight of countless lifetimes and cosmic memory. They wear flowing white or pastel robes, adorned with jewelry embedded with sacred crystals and metals like gold, lapis lazuli, or tourmaline, minerals believed to amplify spiritual frequencies. Most notably, they walk barefoot, symbolizing their unbroken connection to Earth's energy grid. What sets them apart isn't just appearance, it's presence. People who claim to have encountered them describe a sensation of being in the company of something ancient, calm, and compassionate. They are said to possess an active third eye, a specialized organ at the center of the forehead. Through it, they send and receive telepathic communication, move objects using pure intention, merge energy fields for deep emotional and spiritual connection. But above all, they live without ego. They function from unity consciousness, as gentle guides here to awaken humanity, not dominate it. Mount Shasta is widely regarded by mystics, yogis, and energy healers as one of the most powerful spiritual energy vortexes on Earth. Unlike typical magnetic anomalies, an energy vortex is thought to be a swirling center of energy, both geoelectrical and metaphysical, that enhances spiritual awareness, psychic ability, and emotional healing. Shasta's vortex energy is not limited to the summit. It radiates into the surrounding forests, lakes, and even nearby towns. Many visitors report a sense of coming home, as if the mountain is awakening a cellular memory within them. Others speak of feeling energetically detoxed, as if something heavy within them was released. The mountain is also known for hosting ley line intersections, invisible earth energy pathways that many ancient cultures used to build sacred sites. These intersections are believed to thin the veil between dimensions. Because of this unique vibrational frequency, Mount Shasta is said to accelerate personal transformation, heighten intuition, and even initiate spontaneous spiritual awakenings. This is not just a mountain to climb, it's a mystical tuning fork, vibrating your soul into deeper alignment. Here's what most researchers miss. Mount Shasta is at the intersection of multiple spiritual systems. Number 1. Theosophists link Shasta to ascended masters, beings like Saint Germain and Kuthumi, guiding humanity's spiritual evolution from higher planes. Number 2. Channelers say Shasta is a hub for Galactic Federation activity, connecting with beings from Sirius, Pleiades, and Andromeda. Number 3. Inner Earth theories suggest that Telos is just one of many cities within a vast network beneath the planet's surface, a civilization known as Agartha. In these traditions, the Lemurians are guardians of Earth's wisdom, not saviors, not gods, but older siblings are in the human journey toward enlightenment. What if the Lemurians aren't ancient relics of a forgotten past, but a reflection of who we're destined to become? Some spiritual scholars and metaphysical thinkers propose that the Lemurians may exist in a future timeline, not the past. They embody what's often called the fifth-dimensional human, a being evolved beyond ego, fear, and separation. In this view, the Lemurians chose love over domination, intuition over intellect, and harmony over hierarchy. Telos, their subterranean city, isn't hidden as a punishment or secret. It's inaccessible because our frequency isn't aligned. It's not guarded by walls, but by vibration. Each act of kindness, meditation, healing, or forgiveness elevates our consciousness, drawing us closer to their world. It's possible that the Lemurians are not them at all, but us awakened. A preview of our potential, whispering to humanity from the edge of remembrance. You're almost home. Keep rising. If this story echoes in you, if you've ever felt an unexplainable draw to Mount Shasta, you're not alone. Many believe the Lemurians call to certain souls. Not everyone hears it, but those who do, they feel it deep. It might come as a dream, a moment of peace you can't explain, a sudden intuition to visit, hike, or simply gaze at the mountain. And once it starts, it doesn't stop. Because Mount Shasta doesn't just sit in the landscape, it sits in your consciousness.
Hey, how's it going? Well, I was up time-lapsing Aurora Borealis that happened on 6/22. I was standing there and I looked overhead, and a ball of light, real hazy, but just humongous, come right over the top, straight above me, down into the Aurora. And that, what you just saw, was, of course, real high speed. Now I slowed it down. I'm going to zoom in here. It never had a definite point, but it was much larger than, say, a star or anything. And it was not an airplane in any way or form. This is talking out in orbit, possibly a satellite reacting with the Aurora. I do not know. But it was very, very, very impressive, and I just had to throw that on. Now here I have a Panasonic W850 with low light capability at 15 frames a second, so it's real choppy. And right now I'm moving that camera up to that light, and once I get it stopped here, you'll see them other bright lights are stars, and this is what it was looking like, basically moving through the sky that slow. And I still have not even remotely figured out what it is. I don't know if any satellites that are orbiting do that with when they're going through an aurora. Literally, it looked like it was bouncing off from it, or it just created such a white, big, diffused glow. It was just phenomenal. And I'm going to be talking in here and stuff and kind of freaking out in the video, but if anybody's ever experienced that or seen it or not, but I'm going to chalk it up as a satellite just reacting with the Aurora Borealis. I don't know what else it could have possibly have been. I wish I could have got a little bit better footage, but all in all, that's not too bad for what you're looking at. But it continued all the way through to the north, right down into the Aurora. I'll move the camera one more time towards the horizon, and you'll see it'll like disappear slowly but surely. But it was very, very, very well lit up. It wasn't lit up on its own. No reflection from the sun or moon or anything like that. It was either charged particles from the aurora, or there's something that I'm missing or don't know. But I don't think they have the capabilities to have satellites build a magnetic field to bounce them off and make it glow like that, but maybe they do. I just wanted to share this with you guys, just to show you what that I'd seen this, and it's still kind of amazing me. Of course, real life is much better than the camera, but it's about as good as you're going to get. Right here I'm zooming in on one frame, and you can see kind of like a halo around it. But so there you go. That's the aurora with some kind of odd object moving through it.
To begin properly, we must pay a proper debt of gratitude to our friend Drunvalo Melchizedek. A great deal of the wisdom shared in Season 1 of Spirit Science was all provided to the world by him in the ancient secret of the flower of life. We owe so much to Drunvalo and his work and these books that he's provided, and I just wanted to take a moment to express that for all of us. Now, here is an amazing story. Early on his spiritual journey, Drunvalo was visited by two angels. These glowing beings appeared to him and revealed that they were manifestations of his higher self and would be guiding him to different teachers and wisdom. And it was very important that he listened closely to all of the instructions that they gave. Over many years, they guided him, and he met with over 70 different spiritual teachers. But on one particular occasion, they brought him somewhere that he wasn't expecting to go. They told him to go into a quiet room where he wouldn't be disturbed and enter into a meditation. Then they lifted his astral body from his material form, and they headed into outer space and eventually passed a spherical membrane of energy that is about 440,000 miles away from the Earth, which is a particular field relative to the life force of our planet in space. Once they passed this membrane, he saw something unbelievable. A huge, motionless vehicle that was about 50 miles long. It could not be detected from Earth due to the technology the beings on board were using. He said that it looked like a big black cigar, perfectly seamless, except that on one end, there was a huge opening pouring out with light. And as they got closer, he was sucked inside and found himself meeting these beings there, both male and female, who were much taller than he was. He learned that they were Sirians from the star Sirius, the closest star to our own, and that there were about 350 of them on the ship. And they all wore white clothing with little gold insignias on their left arms. He sat down with 3 of them who talked to him telepathically for a long time, and then they gave him a tour of the whole ship. Everything in the ship was white, with no other colors. The rooms were seamless, and all forms on the ship came out of the floors, walls, and ceilings naturally, as if they were all very organic. He said some forms looked like beautiful futuristic art sculptures, and it was like an art gallery everywhere he went. But what's more interesting, all of these shapes were the technology of the ship. The ship had no moving parts, you see, just these shapes emerging out of the walls and floors and ceilings. These beings were so advanced, they reduced their technology to shape, form, and proportion, and all they had to do was connect with the shapes in their hearts and minds, and through them, they could do anything. This form of technology today we call psychotronics, but it's still considered in the mainstream to be a theory which has never been done, at least by us. Drunvalo said that he spent 3 days up in the spaceship, and when he finally returned, his angels began to tell him why they took him there. He at first responded enthusiastically, "Wow, their technology is so cool," and resounded how great it was. But the angels stopped him. "No, you don't understand. That's not the understanding we want you to have." And he asked, "What do you mean?" So the angels told him this. Suppose your body gets cold in this room, and you decide that you're going to go out and make something to heat the room. So you invent a heater and some kind of energy source, whatever you need to heat the room. Then you put the heater in the room, and the heater heats the room, and then you yourself get warm. That seems logical, right? Alas, what the angels revealed was that to do this actually makes us spiritually weaker. Why? Because in doing so, we forget our connection to God. You could have heated the room or your body by your own inner essence, but instead, you gave your power away to an object. The angels projected to Drunvalo that as any civilization makes more and more advanced technology, if that's the choice they make, they separate themselves out further and further from the source of life and actually become weaker spiritually because they become addicted to their technology. They need it in order to survive. In other words, the Sirians were actually spiritually weak, and Drunvalo was instructed not to look at them as a super advanced race, but as people who need spiritual help. The bottom line from his experience, he said, was that the angels wanted him to focus less on technology and concentrate on pure consciousness as a way to remember God. After this, the angels disappeared back into the higher dimensions of his own body of consciousness. He then got up and left his room. While he knew he was up in space for 3 days, he also rationalized that perhaps in worldly time, he was probably gone only a few hours. But when he saw his family and friends, they were completely pale. He asked, "What's wrong?" And they said, "You've been sitting in meditation for 3 days. We were about to call the hospital." We would be remiss if we didn't actually look at Yeshua here, who is commonly known today as Jesus Christ. If we take the gospel accounts as, well, gospel, at least to some degree, we might infer that Yeshua also demonstrated, with almighty grace, the same lessons the angels gave to Drunvalo. He showed that through God, one could do anything. Now, some people watching might be thinking, but Jesus was the Son of God. We're not like him. Except that even he himself said, "Truly, truly, I say to you, whoever believes in me will also do the works that I do, and greater works than these will he do." Yeshua knew the latent power of the human soul and what was possible when our ego and lower self is fully integrated with our higher self and God. But it was just a matter of time, about 2,000 years, for us to really figure all this out. But just figuring it out and understanding it intellectually doesn't necessarily mean that we're ready for it yet. And if we become so attached to our technology and ignore the call of the soul completely, then these stories will remain just that, stories. It's only when one becomes fully integrated through mind, body, and soul that the true nature of Christ consciousness is revealed within, which comes with a very cosmic understanding. Are you ready to go deeper?